What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Tyler, and we are back for another video in our Avengers community series, a community series that airs every single Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, leading up to Avengers Infinity War releasing in theaters on April 27th. This is our fifth video. We have four more after this, and then the movie comes out, and we'll be having tons of videos post the movie coming out, talking about what we thought about it, review, and a bunch of other stuff. So in this video, we want to talk about Bucky, specifically Bucky Will Die. We've done this with other characters in other community series, and it basically gives us a chance to discuss a character, discuss that we think they're going to die, discuss maybe how it affects the rest of the movie, the franchise, and us personally, Tyler and I. So we're going to be doing that a couple times over the next couple videos, starting with Bucky. And as we get closer to the movie, we are going to have other videos talking basically about who we think is going to die in this film, who won't, as well as even Avengers 4. So Tyler, let's start with how. How do you think they would kill Bucky off, and then you can go into how that would really affect the rest of the movie, Cap, maybe, like some of his closest friends, and even, the future, Avengers 4.
So they're in the teaser trailer, before the full final trailer came out, there is a scene where Bucky is running through the forest, and he brings his gun up like he's going to attack somebody. There's some people who think that takes place after Thanos kills Captain America, which is right after Captain America, stopping Thanos' hand. I don't think that's what it is. I think that during, right after the scene that Cap, Hulk, War Machine, Falcon, Black Widow, Black Panther, they're all running towards the screen. Right after that, I think that they're kind of heading towards maybe Thanos arrives or whatever, so they're heading towards a ship or whatever. I think during that, they're wrong or something like that, and Bucky sees Thanos going a different way, or maybe he sees somebody, I don't know, and he kind of breaks off. I think this is what happens. I think he sees Thanos first, attacks Thanos, Thanos kills him or does something to him that will kill him. Cap kind of sees that Bucky did that, so he goes off to stop Bucky or whatever, sees that Bucky's basically dead or going to be dying. Then he is, and then he confronts, then Cap, enraged by that, attacks or goes after Thanos, and that's when that whole stopping of the hand scene happens. And then what I think happens right after that is Hulk, everybody else then shows up, starts fighting Thanos, and he kind of starts backing off. And then as that's happening, Cap is able to go up to Bucky as he's dying. Maybe Falcon's able to come over and see Bucky dying, and at least those two will be able to say goodbye to Bucky right before he dies or something like that. But that's what I think happens. Bucky breaks off, sees Thanos, attacks him. Thanos very mortally wounds him. Cap sees that, jumps in, stops Thanos. The rest of the team comes in, is taking out Thanos, and then Cap and Falcon basically say goodbye to Bucky.
And so, I agree, and I think another kind of important thing to note is people have been drawing comparisons, or at least I saw one article talking about, how that scene is reminiscent of the comics, and that's kind of true, but even the article itself did kind of point out the differences in that in the comics, Thanos had the full Infinity Gauntlet at that time, and Cap kind of went up against him, and it did really resemble, he's fearless, right? He's just going to go up and he's going to take it, and he struggled through, and then he eventually died. But, what Tyler was just saying, which I liked, is I think they could do that, changing it where obviously Thanos doesn't have the Infinity Gauntlet, and that's obviously the biggest difference between that comic part and the movie, is he doesn't even have the full gauntlet at that time. But I think you could do the same thing with Bucky, in that Bucky sees him and, tries, puts up a fight, and I think it would be done very, very quickly, maybe one punch or one hit or whatever, however he ends up finishing him off. I think it'd be fast, but I do think they would make a point to show that Bucky tried really hard. So I do think that's still possible to show, he's not afraid, right? He's just willing to do it. So I think you can do the same thing, just switching Cap with Bucky, and obviously the not having the Infinity Gauntlet all the way powered up. I think that is a difference enough where maybe they're not going exactly how that comic series did. So Tyler, how does Bucky dying? You just kind of said Cap right there, but even in the future with Captain America, how do you think it affects him? How do you think it affects the team? And in 4?
It all depends, I guess, on whether or not Captain America himself dies. There's a lot of people I have a feeling he is, but I don't know if he is in Avengers 3. If he does, I mean, it's totally possible, but I don't know. I can't even say. But I do actually think Captain America will die in either 3 or 4. So that kind of, gets almost rid of like how he deals with Bucky's death. But if he doesn't die in 3, and if he does die in 4, that will carry over, like the emotional, because I mean that was his best friend. So the like emotional damage and all this other stuff, this kind of like hate towards Thanos and all that would carry through. And really, if you think about it, it kind of almost would be cool in a way that Bucky and Cap, or Bucky and Steve Rogers, both died basically in a war up against this really big, bad person who was basically trying to destroy the universe. And they both kind of died. They didn't die at the same time, but they both died together fighting for, the same cause and all that stuff. And really, like, what's funny about that, it's not funny, but it is funny, I guess. What's funny about that is how they both are not from the current time that they live in. They both fought in World War II together. So the fact that both of them were friends, both of them were in the war and all that stuff, and they both somehow managed to jump 100 years into the future. One obviously was frozen, the other went through all these different like experiments and all that. But still, like, for them to both be in this current time together, now they're reunited after Civil War and all that. The programming that was in Winter Soldier, that's why he's not Winter Soldier anymore. Black Panther's sister was able to get rid of that, so now he's White Wolf. So it's just that would be kind of cool. Like, they both fought. They did what they originally were doing together. They both fought in this war to do like something that was good for humanity, and that's how they go out the same way. So that that would kind of be like a cool full circle type thing for both of those characters if they both died. Now, if Cap doesn't die, I don't know. I think that would change him a little bit. I think it would make him a little bit harder, I was going to say. But really, if you think about Cap before was very, like, proper and kind of like, I don't know, like very, like, clean shaven and had that old style haircut. Always kind of, like, seemed nice and stuff. But then, like, slowly, like, he's got, like, this more stern thing about him now. Like, he's got longer hair. He's got a big beard. Like, he doesn't look happy. So he's changed already. So I think the loss of Bucky definitely wouldn't help. And it definitely wouldn't help him kind of return to what he was. So I don't know. I think it would change him, not for like the worse, but he wouldn't be as like happy or like laughy and all that stuff because he lost his friend. But so that's for Cap. Now I think there's a couple other characters. Actually, there's quite a few characters that would be affected by Bucky's death, and I'm gonna list them off real fast, and then I'll explain why. So Falcon, Black Panther, and Shuri, however you pronounce her name, they'd all definitely be affected by Bucky's death. Falcon especially, because they, even though they don't really know each other that much, they definitely were more like friends. Like, it was kind of like funny, like the whole like, I forgot the interaction, but one tells the other to shut up. I think Falcon told him to shut up or whatever. And then like in the car, like they're both kind of fighting over like basically who's Steve Rogers' best friend at this point. So Falcon and Bucky have kind of become close. So that would affect Falcon for sure. Black Panther, although he didn't like the Winter Soldier, he ends up, or Bucky, he ends up forgiving him and all that stuff, and ends up taking him in, and helps him get the programming and all that stuff out of his brain. Takes him in, basically, allows him to survive in this hidden city that's hidden from the world. Not anymore, but it was. Same thing like with the sister. She got to work on Bucky. She got to give him a new arm. She got to come up with this like programming and this and that. She goes and visits him, as we see in the end credits for the Black Panther. He helps out kind of like the town in a way. Like they call him White Wolf, so he's kind of known a little bit in the among the like townspeople or the village people of Wakanda. So there's quite a few. Like he's not like a, I don't want to call him like a one and done. Like he's not a character where, if he dies, like nobody really cares. Like he's been around at least long enough where there's a handful of people that would be affected by his death. The most obviously would be Captain America, but I would almost put it in that order. I think I would just switch out Shuri and Black Panther. I think Cap, Falcon, Shuri, and then Black Panther. That would be the order of like, most affected to least affected.
So yeah, I agree with Tyler in terms of the other Avengers that would be affected with that. And I know, and we were talking earlier about, kind of the fans, like where we've been with this character. And even though he has not been in many movies, I can say not from a female perspective, because I am not one, but knowing many females that like this film, I'm sure Tyler's the same, a lot of girls love Bucky. So, this movie is going to be probably the biggest movie ever made. So don't think for a second, there's a lot of females along with males that are going to go see this film. So this is, the classic Jack Sparrow dies kind of thing, but it probably bigger, where if Bucky gets taken out and Captain America, any of like the, the hunky men kind of thing, it's going to kill. It's going to kill many teenage females. It's going to be pretty sad to see. But I agree with Tyler for the rest of the Avengers and how they would be affected by that. So that's what we think about Bucky. Let us know in the comments below what you guys think about Bucky, how he would die, if he would die, and all that stuff. Again, these community series videos go up every single Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, leading up to Avengers Infinity War, releasing in theaters on April 27th. We got 4 more after this. We're very excited. We got some really big topics coming up, and then we're going to be having a ton of videos once the movie actually comes out. We are getting very, very close. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next Thursday.